tie is an extremely powerful connection with someone that was created at some point in your life. Soul ties can have both positive and negative effects on our life. In today's video, I'm going to tell you more about soul ties. It is important not to confuse a soul tie connection with a twin flame, a soulmate, or a twin soul connection. The main difference between a soul tie and a twin flame or a soulmate connection is that a twin flame or a soulmate connection is a relationship that is part of our karmic journey on this planet. A twin flame relationship is vitally important for our progression and our evolution as a soul. If we do not experience our twin flame or our soulmate relationship, there are many facets of our personality that we will not be aware of and that we will never learn about, because the twin flame and the soulmate in essence represents another side of ourselves. A soul tie is entirely different from a twin flame relationship. A soul tie is not necessarily part of our karmic journey. A soul tie is something that we can create ourselves. So our twin flames and our soulmates are souls that we cannot choose. These are people that we instantly feel this automatic connection to. These are people that are going to end up teaching us so many things in our life. However, a soul tie is so different from this, as a soul tie is a connection that is created between two souls intentionally. Now, a soul tie can also be created unintentionally. Let me explain to you why soul tie relationships are usually created intentionally and by choice, and why soulmates relationships are not. Many different cultures and religions believe in soul ties. In Christianity, it is believed that a soul tie is created through sexual intercourse with someone. Scientists believe that soul ties are an over-spiritualization of normal feelings. It's entirely up to you whether you want to believe in soul ties or not. In this video, I'm going to explain to you everything that you need to know about soul ties. So in essence, a soul tie is a spiritual contract between two people. It is when two people have agreed to meet up in this lifetime and to share some kind of exchange or some kind of interaction with each other that binds them together within this lifetime. Now, like I said, a soul tie is very different from a twin flame or a soulmate. We can have hundreds of soul ties. We can have thousands of soul ties. However, we will not necessarily have hundreds or thousands of twin flames or soulmates. Soul ties are often created through very intense and intimate relationships. Soul ties are usually created when two people share some sort of connection within their life. This connection, like I said, might not necessarily be a soulmate or a twin flame connection, but it is still a very important lesson within that soul's journey. Even if we have bad soul ties that are toxic and negative in our lives, we still need those soul ties. And those soul ties are still very important when it comes to the lesson that our soul actually has to learn within this lifetime. But the thing to remember is our soul ties are not the biggest teacher of this lesson. Usually it is our soulmates and our twin flames that are the biggest teachers of this lesson. I like to call soul ties the smaller teachers in our life. They might not have this massive impact in our lives, such as what a twin flame or soulmate might have, but a soul tie still has a relevant impact within your life. In essence, a soul tie is when two souls are linked together in the spiritual realm. There are three ways that soul ties can be formed. The first way is through genetics. You will have a soul tie with your mother and your father, and you will have a soul tie with your child. Because you are in essence part of your mother and your father. You're in your mother's body. You are part of your mother. You are connected to the souls of your parents forever. The same counts for your children. You'll always be connected to the souls of your children. The second way a soul tie can be created is through spiritual experiences. These are usually the type of soul ties that are created through friendships. When a soul tie is created through a spiritual experience, it is usually when two souls are able to connect with each other and able to truly see each other, regardless of being intimate or regardless of sharing genetics. These type of soul ties are usually our friendships that we feel very passionate about. The friends that you have, that you feel very strongly about, at some point you must have had an experience where you truly connected with that person. That is why you are such good friends now. The third way that a soul tie can be created is through sexual intercourse. When two people come together in sexual intercourse, they do in essence become one, and this creates a soul tie. The healthiest type of soul ties are the soul ties that are created through spiritual experiences. The reason for this is because these soul ties are easier to break than the soul ties that are created through genetics or through sexual intercourse. Soul ties that are created through genetics or sexual intercourse are more difficult to break because these soul ties are more embedded within our souls. The most dangerous type of soul tie which can be created is the third type of soul tie, which is a soul tie that is created through sexual intercourse. The reason why this soul tie type is the most dangerous one is because we can create so many soul ties to other souls that are in essence very, very bad for us, that are toxic and negative to us. Because we can in essence create soul ties with so many souls that are actually harmful for us. The reason why the third type of soul tie type is extremely dangerous is because many people are not aware of how when they are intimate with a person sexually, it does create a soul tie. So many people can actually be sexually intimate with other people who might be a very toxic and harmful influence in this person's life. At the end of the day, when you are sexually intimate with a person, you do create a soul tie, whether you like it or not. In Christianity, they believe in the concept no sex before marriage. And to be honest with you guys, I don't necessarily believe in the concept no sex before marriage. I believe that people should have sex with whoever they want to have sex with. But I do believe that people need to be more conscious and more aware about who they actually have sex with. At the end of the day, it's all fun and everything to be so sexually liberated, to have sexual freedom. And I completely agree with sexual freedom. However, with freedom comes great responsibility. And your responsibility is to ensure that those people that you do sexually connect with are going to be positive influences in the progression of your soul and not negative influences in the progression of your soul. What happens when we have many soul ties? What happens over time is the more soul ties we accumulate, the more difficult it actually becomes to create focused energy on creating one solid connection with one person over time. So what I mean by this is the reason why Christianity preaches no sex before marriage, and even though I do disagree with this, there is some truth to this. Imagine every single soul tie you have as a string that is attached to you. The end of this string is attached to another person. What ends up happening is there is this energetic feed between you and this other person, even though both of you are not aware of it. But your energy field picks up on their experiences. You're subconsciously picking up on their thoughts, on their aura, on everything that they are, even though they're not directly with you, because you created that attachment. You created that tie. You created that string with them. So what eventually happens is, over time, when we create many soul ties, we can have hundreds, if not even thousands of these strings attached to us. When all these strings are attached to us, it makes it very difficult to remain focused on creating one solid connection with someone we might want to. What ends up happening on a spiritual level is we are downloading the energy of the people we have soul ties with into our subconscious mind every single day. We then have to navigate our daily lives with all these chaotic thoughts and feelings that we do not know how to process, that we do not know how to work through. But the reason we are feeling so many of these chaotic thoughts and feelings is because we are actually downloading the energetic imprint of the people that we have soul ties with without even knowing it. That is why, at the end of the day, people who have been sexually involved with enormous amounts of people do find it incredibly tricky to actually form one solid connection and to actually feel at peace within themselves. The reason for this is because they are, in essence, split up and fractured into so many different parts. So many different parts of them are connected to other people. What ends up happening each time we create a soul tie is we fracture or chip off a piece of ourselves. We then give this piece of ourselves to this other person that we are creating the soul tie with. What ends up happening over time is the more soul ties we create, the more pieces of ourselves we have to break off and give to other people, which then results in us becoming more fractured in the end. A very interesting analogy I read about soul ties is It is basically like gluing two pieces of wood together and then ripping them apart. At the end of the day, each piece of wood is going to have a lasting impact from being glued together with the other piece of wood, whether they like it or not. The same counts for soul ties, whether we like it or not, whether we try to ignore it and whether we try to move on with our lives and we try to forget about it. We will always carry a part of that other person with us for the rest of our lives, unless we consciously put the effort and the work into breaking that soul tie. What also can end up happening is the more soul ties you create, the more soul ties you will want to create, because you are in essence searching for yourself. Because like I explained, on a spiritual level, you are literally busy cutting off pieces of yourself and giving it to another person. Eventually, there are going to be so many pieces of you missing. Now, at the end of the day, some soul ties will have a very unhealthy impact on us, and some soul ties will have a healthy and positive impact on us. Because a soul tie can be both good and bad, I'm going to tell you some ways to tell whether a soul tie relationship is a positive one or whether it is a negative one. The first way to know if a soul tie is a healthy one is that you feel connected to this person on a deeper level. However, you do not feel a sense of obligation and responsibility towards them. When a soul tie is unhealthy, you will feel a sense of responsibility and obligation towards this person. You will feel like you need to meet this person's needs, like you have to go out of your way to make this person happy. However, if a soul tie interaction is a positive one, there will be that sense of connection, but there won't be a sense of this continuous responsibility to keep that connection. Number 2, if the person triggers positive emotional reactions in you, then it is likely a positive soul tie relationship. If this person is continuously triggering negative emotional reactions in you, then it is most likely a negative soul tie relationship. Number 3, if it's a positive soul tie relationship, this person will feel incredibly familiar to you. It'll feel like you know this person, like this person doesn't have to explain themselves to you. You automatically just get them. If it's a negative soul tie relationship, this person will feel incredibly unfamiliar to you. Even though you have connected intimately with this person, it will still feel like you do not know this person, like you do not know who you're dealing with. Number 4, in a positive soul tie connection, it will feel like this person is a positive force in your life, and this person is encouraging you to be your best version of yourself you can be and to be successful. You feel highly complete and whole with this person in your life. However, with a negative soul tie connection, you will likely feel incredibly empty around this person. You will feel like you cannot be your true self, like you cannot function at your highest capability and you cannot actually reach the success you wish to reach. It is believed that a soul tie can only be broken between two souls in the spiritual realm. This means the most surefire way to break a soul tie with another person is through meditation or possibly astral projection. In the Christian religion, they believe that prayer can break a soul tie as well. However, at the end of the day, prayer is almost the same thing as meditation, as prayer requires you to focus inward, to become still, as well as to set an intention. To break a soul tie through meditation, you need to allow yourself to enter a meditative state. Once you're in a meditative state, you can then communicate with the souls that you have soul ties with within this meditative state because you are more connected to the spiritual realm. Once you're within this meditative state and you have this connection to the spiritual realm, you can then communicate with these other souls and you can ask them to please break the soul ties, to sever it, to end it. Over time, through doing this through meditation, you will find that the soul tie connections that you feel with other people will become less and less. And over time, you will likely forget about these people and you will lose the connection that you feel to them. It is possible for soul tie connections to be severed, even if they were created through genetics, spiritually, or through intercourse. It does, however, require some spiritual work as well as meditation. However, over time, as you do this, you will feel yourself losing your connection to those people. Those people won't have so much of a hold over you over time. This is usually how unhealthy soul ties are created between two people. The first way is through ignorance. It is through believing that sexual intercourse is merely a physical act, and it is single dimensional, and it has no impact on you spiritually. Very often, after a person becomes intimate with a person, they develop feelings for them and they become connected to them, even if they don't like it, even if they try to avoid this. The second way is when a person allows himself to be intimate with a person, hoping that it's going to bring them a deeper connection. Then the person that they're intimate with is just using them. After the interaction, they have bonded, and the one person who is hoping for intimacy and connection now feels even more connected to the person they wish to receive this intimacy and connection from, but this person does not wish to have intimacy and connection with them. This then results in an unbalanced soul tie where the one person is giving so much of themselves to the other person and the other person is giving nothing of themselves to that person. Another example of an unhealthy soul tie is when two people get married and they spend many years connecting and bonding with each other. They then create an incredibly powerful soul tie bond. What then ends up happening is one of these people have a relationship outside of the marriage and they create a soul tie with another person apart from their spouse. Now a relationship that consisted of two people initially consists of three people. Now this person who was initially with one person and had a very strong connection with this one person is now connected to two people, and they feel themselves being split. They feel themselves being pushed and pulled between two sides. This is an incredibly unhealthy soul tie connection. When we have many unhealthy soul ties with people, we will not be able to think rationally and logically. We will place preconceived ideas and experiences onto new people that we meet, and we will expect these people to behave like other people that we knew before. Even though this person is a completely new person in our lives, we will still place these preconceived ideas onto them based on our previous experiences with other people we have soul ties with. We will shut down emotionally because there is no way that we can be emotionally receptive to so many people at once. We will have an unhealthy, unnatural obsession with other people. The reason for this is because we created a soul tie purely based on the physical and not on the spiritual. We then keep seeking more connection, more intimacy, but because the soul tie was purely based on the physical and not the spiritual, it's almost like a bottomless pit. We will lack judgments and we won't be able to discern between which people are good for us and which people are bad for us, which experiences are good for us and which experiences are bad for us. We will also eventually be unable to maintain healthy relationships with people because we are not aware of what it actually takes to keep a spiritual as well as an intimate bond with someone. We will constantly be going to two extremes and we won't actually be able to maintain or stay in our relationships at all. We will have extremely low self-esteem due to being so fractured and not being whole. We will have incredibly low self-esteem because so many parts of who we are is intertwined with other people and we do not have full reign over our energy and over ourselves. We will become people-pleasing and we will lack boundaries. The reason for this is because we will want to put other people's needs first and not our own. A sign of unhealthy soul ties is when a person does not consider their well-being and what is best for them, and they actually consider what's best for other people above themselves. Healthy soul tie relationships is when two different parties are both on the same page regarding what is best and what is healthier for both of them. There will also be issues with being controlled and controlling other people. People with unhealthy soul ties don't want other people to control them because they don't want to feel like other people have a say in their life or a hold on them. People with unhealthy soul ties will also try to control other people because they feel like they lack this control within themselves. They lack this control over their own lives. At the end of the day, it's really important to be conscious about who you create soul ties with. There's nothing wrong with having many soul ties as long as these soul ties are healthy soul ties and not unhealthy, toxic soul ties. Feel free to explore your sexuality and please have your sexual freedom, but also be responsible and be aware about who you do involve yourself with intimately, because at the end of the day, you are creating soul ties and it's very important to be conscious of who you're creating these soul ties with. If you're going to be intimate with a person, think to yourself, am I willing to carry this person's energy with me for a very long time or not. If you're not willing to take that person on for who they are and to carry that energy with you for a very, very long time, perhaps forming a soul tie is not the best option. On the other hand, if you can see that forming a soul tie with somebody is going to bring you amazing, amazing experiences and opportunities and feelings in your life, then go ahead. Just make sure that you remain aware and that you remain responsible. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having many soul ties, as long as these soul ties are healthy. This is my video on soul ties. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see some more astrology and spirituality videos. Check out the link to my Patreon below if you'd like to support this channel. In my Patreon, I offer direct communication, monthly natal chart readings, as well as monthly horoscope readings, merchandise, access to exclusive content, and much, much more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.